On this episode of Carnage, we're going to dyno test the Lexcen to see if that little nitrous spray bar actually does anything. So here we are, back at max performance. We're on the hub dyno. We've got the Lexcen, so 4 litre quad cam, single turbo V8, makes about between 650 and 700 at the rear wheels, depending on what dyno it's on. But yeah, it makes some power. And it's basically a stock bottom end in terms of like it's stock crank, stock rods, stock pistons. Yes, I have opened up the ring gaps and that sort of thing, but it's essentially a stock bottom end 1UZ with some camshafts, got Kelford cams in it and Kelford springs, but it makes some power, and it has gone 1031 at 136 mile an hour down the track. This thing rips. It is a genuine sleeper, it really goes. But we do suffer from a bit of intake heat. Yeah, it just builds up and gets to that point where you can't really get the intake charge down to where it needs to be. And in fact, during a run, we will see the intake temps climb to a point where it starts pulling timing and starts pulling power. So we've put this nitrous spray bar on there to see if that will help the situation. Now, we were planning to run this thing way before now down the track. In fact, we had it scheduled to run, and that day got cancelled due to weather. So we haven't had a chance to run this thing, but we figure, I mean, we're going to run it soon, but let's see if we're actually wasting our time. You know, let's test it on the dyno, see if it actually does help and by how much, or are we better off just taking that nitrous line and directing it into the intake and giving it like a 50 horsepower shot, maybe something like that. It doesn't need a lot, just enough to bring those intake temps down. So yeah. We're going to run it up on the dyno, try and heat soak it a bit, see what power it makes right now, and then activate the nitrous, see what difference that makes. So Zane's going to make an initial run, just straight, no gas, just see how it goes, see what power it makes right now. It is quite cool today, but we'll get some heat into it and then see how that affects its power, you know, after a couple runs. Then we can try the gas and see how much we get back. In true Carnage fashion, we found our first problem of the day. This car has not run down the track or on the dyno in a long time, and it looks like the plugs might be just suffered from driving in and out of the shop without actually, you know, getting any real heat in them. So Zane says it's breaking down as soon as he's trying to get onto it. We suspect it's probably plugs. So I guess we're pulling the plugs out and have a look at that. Yay. So we don't have enough new Denso plugs. I've only got 4 new Denso plugs of the same type. So we're going to go with these Ford XR6 turbo plugs. See how that goes. So we've changed the plugs. Zane's just run it up just to check that it's not breaking down. It's not breaking down. It did hit some sort of limiter. We'll have to look at that. But we're out of time today because of having to change the plugs. We've gone over our time. Zane's got to go off and do some other things. So we're going to have to come back in the morning, run it up, see what's going on, and yeah, test our nitrous system then. So we'll be back in the morning. So it's the next morning. We are back here at Max Performance, about to fire this thing up after I give Zane some power. There you go. It's the little things. Something wrong with it. Don't know exactly what. It's not happy with something. So on this engine we've got 6 coil packs of the same brand and 2 a different brand. And when we pulled the plugs out yesterday, we noticed 2 of the plugs had rust on them, and it was the 2 plugs that corresponded with those coils that are different. So we suspect there's a problem with those coils. I don't know if the coils themselves are bad or if there's just a bad connection inside, because it does look like they're a bit deeper inside. So maybe we're not getting a good solid connection to our spark plug. So anyway, we'll pull them out, we'll have a look and see what we can sort out. This is not the video that we intended, but it's the video you're getting. Oh, it's much deeper inside, like where it hits the spark plug. There's, yeah. Okay. Right, so I've ducked down to one of the local parts suppliers and found some coils. I'm just, I think the spring still feels a little bit short in there, so I'm just going to stretch it a bit, just so we get good contact. finally, it works. So what's that, 385 rear wheel kilowatt? That's nowhere near its best, but it's at least it's not breaking down now, which is, wow. For what was supposed to be a simple like A to B dyno test, yeah, it's been frustrating. That's more like it. I mean, I think that's the first time we've actually run this thing on this dyno, because Zane's had a massive upgrade on his dyno. So I don't think we've ever run this car on this dyno. That's pretty representative of it. In that 630, 650 area. We saw 700 plus at Summernats, but we always see more at Summernats.
Cold as fuck today, it's cold.
All right, we're going to try and heat soak it a bit, I guess. This bloody car, what was that?
Breaking down, spark again.
Ah, fuck's sake. Yeah, I think it's, yeah, I mean, they're just cheap. Well, most of the core packs are genuine Japanese core packs, except the two that we had to replace, they were Chinese core packs that we had issues with. We've gone down and bought new core packs, and they're also probably cheap Chinese core packs. And what we need is Japanese core packs all the way through it, and maybe close down the plug gap a little bit. But
plug gap might get you out of the shit for today.
right, well, we replaced our coils just with some cheap Chinese coils from a local parts store. It was all that was available quickly, and while we did get one good run out of it, 475 rear wheel kilowatt, that's pretty good. Yeah, they're just not handling any serious boost. So we're gonna have to go order some good Japanese coils and put that on it, and maybe close up the spark gaps just a little bit as well. But these are not things that are gonna happen today, because Zane needs the dyno for other cars, for his, the Falcons that are his bread and butter. So let's get this thing off the dyno, take it back, fix it, make sure it's right. And I guess this also, illustrates the need to be up on top of the maintenance of your performance cars, because we let these cars sit for long periods. Yes, we did put fresh E85 in it. Yes, we did do an oil change on it, but we didn't change the plugs before we got here or any of that sort of stuff. And these are all things that you got to do. You've got to keep up on the maintenance of your performance cars. But anyway, we're going to head back to our shop, get this thing sorted, and we'll bring it back another day and answer the question of, does that spray bar actually do anything? And here we are, back at Max Performance to finish off this dyno exercise. So I have replaced the offending coils. I have even replaced the plugs again and re-gapped them down to like 0.5 mil. So it works fine on the street, allegedly, in Mexico. Yeah, she works fine, and doesn't seem to break down at all. So hopefully on the dyno, it's going to behave. Because if it doesn't behave, I don't know what the hell we're going to do. But anyway, yeah, let's run it up, make sure it makes some clean power, and then let's heat soak the intercooler and then see if this thing does its job. Spray some nitrous on it, bring that intake temp down, and hopefully make some more power. And then we can take it to the track when we work out whenever that's going to be now. That's a new PB, baby. It's never done 500 rear wheel kilowatt. So that is the most power we've ever made on this dyno. 506.1 kilowatts, which is 678 horsepower at the tyres. Now we have seen 700 at Summernats. However, you know, different dyno, different day, different, you know, place in the universe. You know, these things all vary. So you don't really compare dynos against dynos, but that's pretty good power. And the torque, wow, over 1,000 Newton meters. I mean, I don't like to use torque figures off chassis dynos, you know, or hub dynos because gearing and all that comes into it. But it's pretty respectable. This thing's making some power. Now, our intake temps are not really coming up today because it is cold. It's a cold day, and intake temps are still at about 24 degrees, so it's still really cold. We're hoping we can get those intake temps up a bit so we can then hit it with the nitrous and then make a difference, but we're not sure that's going to happen. But either way, new PB, that's worth it, isn't it?
It's definitely spraying the intercooler, but I think it's too cold for it to make a difference.
So it's not pulling a lot out of it, but it is cooling it for longer. But we're only bringing it down three degrees. Doesn't really feel worth it, does it? Maybe we need to be squirting it into the manifold. Yes.
So we didn't see much of a difference before, but now he's going to spray it from earlier on. Before he only had it activating after 4,000 RPM. Now he's going to hit it early. We'll see if that makes a difference, but yeah, this is starting to look like maybe we should just spray it into the motor. It's not really showing a difference, is it? It's in fact, the more we run it, the worse the power figures, which usually is a factor of heat. But we're spraying it with nitrous, so it should be getting colder, not hotter. Maybe these things are just a waste of time. So he's going to give it one last try, ask for more boost, we'll see what happens. Another PB. That's pretty cool.
Right, well, what's our conclusion? Our conclusion is nitrous should be sprayed inside the engine, not outside the engine, I think, because this nitrous spray bar, I think it's a bit of a waste of time and money, but I guess if you've tried every other option and you've got no other recourse, try it. But yeah, we're only seeing a couple of degrees difference in temperatures, and when we need to pull like 40 degrees out of it. It is a cold day, so we are going to see less of an improvement on a day like today, but we are still seeing those intake temps are still going up into the mid 50s, you know. So, you know, yeah, it's not really working for us. So where do we go from here? Well, let's face it, we just did 4 500 kilowatt runs back to back. 500 rear wheel kilowatt. That's, well, the best run, 681 horsepower at the tyres, or the rear, the hubs, whatever you want to say. it makes a lot of power. This thing is a bit of a steam train. It just motors along. It's got 308 gears. 308 gears, and it's run 1031. We want to run 9s with it. But yeah, we need to find just a little bit more horsepower and probably some way of either cooling the intercooler, or maybe we'll try one of ProFlow's other coolers. Maybe we'll put a bigger cooler in it. That might be the option. But whatever we do, you'll see on a future episode of Carnage.